Welcome to the Call to Farms podcast. I'm your host, Tim, joined with my lovely wife, Sophie.
Hey, friends.
So we are going to be meeting up with you guys every week now and just chatting about, homesteading, housing, parenting, homeschooling, everything.
Well, we do owe you a bonus episode this month because we skipped out last month on one. So we're here. It is a little bit much later, actually.
Yes. Much
But we wanted to get it done because if we don't do it, then we won't do it and then we'll lose momentum.
We're going to inundate you with episodes now.
So stay tuned for more updates because this is honestly the easiest way for us to create content for you to stay updated with us, and for us to honestly connect because it's one of the things this year has been extremely busy. And Tim and I work really well when we pass each other. Almost I can hand a task off to you. We did run track in high school and I did do relay. Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
4x1. That's right.
Hurdles?
No, 4x1.
Oh,
it's sprints.
Okay, yeah. That's right. I did hurdles.
You did?
You did, yeah. But so I feel like we've been passing the baton for the last year. So it's nice to be able to sit here and honestly, an hour a week is something we should be doing.
Sure.
And so we figured it'd be good to just hit record and have you join in on our conversations.
Yes. Welcome. All right. What are we chatting about today?
We have a lot of things. Let's talk about the homestead hustle and moving, winter prep, and organization. I said we'd slow down, but slowing down doesn't mean just lying on the couch and not doing anything. We still work. And in fact, all the things that we wouldn't do outside right now because things are super cold and we had our first snow this past week, that means we're focusing a lot of our efforts in the home now. And we can talk more about that.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So many things to talk about. Lots of things going on with our homestead, with just life. And I think this is a great way to welcome you into our conversation. So,
yeah.
Well,
yesterday was December 7th, and that marks the official first year of the Nourishing Asian Kitchen coming out. So thank you again, everybody, for your support, your early support, and your support throughout, listening to our podcast, getting a book, getting a few extra books for your friends and family. If I've met you during any of our conferences this year, you reaching out to us, just thank you so much for all of your support because I just really didn't think that anybody else would be interested in our Vietnamese recipes, our family recipes, but enough of you had and voted and nominated, and actually the Nourishing Asian Kitchen won the Indies Forward Award for the cooking category. And I'm so honored because that means that when we have future printings in the future, we will have a seal on the book that I just remember from the Blue Ribbon seals from when we were a kid and all those kiddie books. And so I'm like, that's really exciting. So thank you so much for your support. And thank you so much for your support, honey, and the children and the whole entire family, mom, dad, and sister, and everybody here who are our mentors, our friends who have helped to watch the farm for us while I've been gone and you've been gone and traveling. So thank you.
Congrats too. It was a lot of work. I was there to watch you. A lot of sleepless nights that you had, but it was, a lot of great reward to see the book finally published. And it was just fun to actually accompany you to some of these events. You went to a lot of book signing events, but it was fun to go to a few of them with you and to meet all of you out there. So it was really fun, really humbling to meet some of our listeners and some of our fans that really love Vietnamese food and wanted an easy way to learn how to cook and have it be nourishing yet also delicious. So this was a great book.
Yeah. And a lot of our clients have actually come from the cookbook, believe it or not.
That's right.
So unknowingly, the book has become a lead magnet. And I don't even mention anything about our real estate business in there. But I think a lot of people who bought the book, we shared our story in there and our journey and the importance of eating real, nourishing food for you and your family. And I'm so happy that it has inspired so many of you to start growing your own gardens, whether you sent us photos of a carrot that you've grown on your balcony in the city or photos of your tomato in suburbia, to getting your first farm, like reaching out to us and letting us know where you are, saying, hey, I put our house on the market and we can't wait to work with you. We can't wait to see East Tennessee, North Carolina, or even people who are like, I don't know whether Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, any of that. So just hopping on a call and listening to our podcast I'm so glad that it has inspired many of you to take the first steps in reclaiming your right to clean, real food.
Yeah, I'm so glad that our story resonated with so many of you. And many of you who booked calls with me and hearing your stories, I'm just so honored to hear about them and to be a part of your journey. So, more to come.
Yeah. Okay. So, I want to talk about what you've also done this week. We had, a lot of things. I know I've been working, but you have also been helping with the move. And we officially have all of our animals, with the exception of one, all of our animals, two, maybe.
Yeah.
I think a turkey and a dog.
A turkey and a dog. We're not missing the dog. The dog is intentionally left there. She's fine over there, but we're keeping her separate.
Patrolling over there.
Yeah.
Keeping security.
Exactly. I mean, but we do have a turkey that's gone a little wild there, and I don't want to chase after her. But we are in the middle of a move. So we're moving to a 40-acre homestead. We're managing 2 homesteads right now, but we're, for the most part, moved in. And this past week, I did the final move of moving the rest of the fowl in. So the ducks and a couple of turkeys and some of the IM Somalis, we brought them in. And that was, I don't know why I waited for this week, because we had 15-degree, 20-degree weather. And that was really interesting and challenging to be able to managing both places at once. But yeah, we finally got them all in. Fencing is super important because of the extreme temperatures. Also worried about how are we going to give water to these birds, right? And find an easy system to be able to do it, especially so that everyone in the household, from children to grandparents, can help out. And that's something that we are in the middle of working on. So the birds are fed and they get watered every day, but I'm working on that system, especially with these temperatures.
Well, and it's different because back on our other property was flat. So it was a lot easier to manage.
Yeah.
And here, because we chose to move up into the mountains and get some more woods, we do have slopes. And that's something that we have to get used to now. And it's been a few years, I'd say maybe 7, 8 years since we've had a house with stairs. And even back then, I've not been a fan. After we sold that house, I just remember thinking, I'm going to design for mom and dad, because it's a lot easier when I think about that, because by the time we're 70, things will be easy. Because we have designed it that way. So we're in the process of figuring out how to make everything work in an easy way.
Yes, we are.
But it's going to be different. It is different.
It is going to be different. I've had to blow leaves to make sure that it's not going to be slippery, to salting the walkways and the stairs so that when it snowed, it wouldn't be slippery for my in-laws. But I did account for the birds. So I consolidated all the birds in one location. So that has helped. But because we moved in pretty quickly, I assessed the fencing, and I do need to make some amends there as well, because just last night we had a little predator come in. It was a little skunk. Now, I know skunks are more dangerous to eggs and chicks, but still having a skunk in the chicken coop area, now he triggered one of my cameras, and so I was alerted to it. And I do make my patrols, and I did hear some of the hens clucking, and it just sounded a little strange. I went over and checked it out and saw that the little rooster was doing his job and trying to protect his hens. And
you took care of it.
I did take care of it. I took care of it with my AR. So I did take care of the skunk. Though this remaining vigilant, especially in a new, area, and establishing security on the homestead, and also making sure that there's good fencing for all your livestock. It's really important. So remaining vigilant, especially when it gets cold, because there are always predators out there looking for food.
Yeah. And what's interesting was I had my friend and colleague here for the last couple of days.
That's right.
And we heard all of this going down.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that time because she has been instrumental, Michelle, from Melissa's Pioneering Today Academy. We are working on a project to create the efficient homestead. And this will be released in the next couple of months. But what was really interesting was I thought that, my mind, who naturally thinks of optimizing things and how do we improve the workflow in our businesses, I didn't think about how that would translate to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm a pretty efficient chef or a home chef,
Right.
where I'm in, I'm out, or I'm fermenting, or I do things that are quick, not a lot of hands-on time. And I'll make broth, but that's maybe within, between making that meal, I maybe have 5 minutes hands-on time.
You're very efficient with your time, especially when you have to juggle so many things.
Right.
Yeah.
But I never thought about designing an efficient kitchen that will allow me to move even faster, but not just faster, having maximized space in the kitchen so that other people can come and also join in, whether that's teaching them a lesson on how to hold your knife with the kids, or having mom or you help out with meat while I'm prepping veggies, for example. Just having that extra space to help around the kitchen makes it more efficient.
That's right.
And it wasn't until last night, I was up until 2:00 in the morning, and Michelle really helped me change my philosophy. I think the biggest takeaway of all of this is the mindset piece, because you and I thought that we're pretty efficient in the kitchen. We have had most of our short-term food storage, and coming from the city, growing up in the city, and as we worked from home, I would have our groceries delivered to us.
Right.
And if not, we would hang out at a grocery store and walk around.
Yeah.
And so that would be every couple of days. But it's natural for most folks in the city to have this type of daily lifestyle of going to the grocery store. And mom, back then, she would go to the grocery store almost every day after work. It was almost like a reprieve for her. And that I enjoyed it because I always jumped in the car with her and I got to learn how to pick out vegetables, tomatoes, and apples, because she would always say, everyone's paying the same price. We're all paying the same price for this apple here or for this tomato, but you need to know which apple is going to last longer, which one is more fresh, and which tomato, right? And that was really important for me to pick up as a young child. But it wasn't until the way that Michelle explained it, and I'm giving you just a sneak peek because you'll get the full information on the course and all of the really cool hacks on how to create an efficient kitchen. But the mindset piece of looking at your long-term food storage as your grocery store. And why that's important is because as I was reorganizing everything last night at 2:00 in the morning, it hit me like a ton of bricks that if you want food security, it starts in the kitchen. And I know that many of you probably already figured that out, but it didn't really click for me because of the way that we view food. Like, I have food storage in 5-gallon buckets from years ago in 2020, and thinking that that's just going to be our reserves, but not really thinking about how this should be rotated in our daily lives, and how to think that we need to have a grocery store and the resilience that you get from that. Because if anything happens, and I'm not saying, another round of pandemics, but I'm even talking just about like natural disasters, what we saw literally hit home for us with Hurricane Helene,
Yeah.
and how we actually know some people who are affected by it. And that means that if we are in a position to, let's say we can't get out of the home, trees are down, water, anything like that, we still have a food storage. Or on the flip side, what's even better is if we aren't affected, the mere fact that we are able to have been able to store this food to help others is even better. And Michelle was here, and Melissa talks about this too. Melissa K. Norris talks about how we should be storing up a year's worth of food. And that's definitely going to be an ongoing goal for us, rotating through what we've been holding on for the last couple of years. And it was really great because this morning I opened up an old box of ours from 2020. It was an old box of sprouted hard red wheat from Azure.
Yeah.
And I had it in a 3-gallon bucket with a Mylar bag. Didn't even know what we were doing at the time. I opened it this morning and it smelled fresh and fine. No rancidity. So I hugged that bag. I was so ready to implement everything that Michelle taught me.
Yeah, I think for many of us, especially for me too, I'm from the military, been exposed to MREs, meal ready to eat. I'm just thinking of this mindset that you purchase these dehydrated foods or you're canning and you're doing all this in case of a rainy day or some sort of natural disaster. Why and how would I be able to rotate that into my daily meals? So I have to change my way of thinking. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
And this was really cool to actually witness both you and Michelle going through the kitchen and just reorganizing everything. And this is a great time too when we begin to just get things right. And so it does feel good because this also spurs on, got the kitchen done. So let's get other parts of the house done as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It's just a little hectic because we are still moving, still unpacking things. So doing that while taking everything out that we just put out and reorganizing it. But I know already in the last 48 hours, what a huge shift it has been in our home to just have other family members feel like they also want to keep things in order and have everything in its place. So it's great. And just in time, because tomorrow we're hosting our very first game night.
Yeah, that's true. Looking forward to that.
Yes. And our eldest daughter has prepped in the last couple of days 24 balls of sourdough pizza.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be our first time doing that all at once, but we're going to have like a pizza topping station, and then everyone will make their own pizzas and we'll go into the oven, and hopefully everything will go just fine.
We need an ice cream sundae station. That would be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So game night, I mean, just you're seeing like we have to juggle all these different things. You're moving, organizing, and just like what you mentioned, it doesn't come that easy where you're just organizing your kitchen. I mean, there's some work involved. I had to put up some shelves in the storage room. There are a lot of things that have to come together. If you can check out this course so that you can start planning ahead and getting all these other implied tasks done will free you up so that you can have game nights, for instance. And we can't forget to have that balance with family and social life. And
I mean, important. Yeah. For the last 3 years, we really haven't been able to host many people in our home just because of the limited amount of space. It was very tight. And so I feel like now that we have everything in its place, I have enough food and condiments and preserved goods where we really could just commit to something like a bi-monthly game night.
There you go. And we don't have to hide all of our junk into one room and cram it there. How many of you out there do that? You know what I'm talking about? Just hide it in the garage, everything. Well, we used to do a lot of that. But now that we're getting things a little organized and stuff, you can just, hey, this is it.
This is how we live now.
You can come on by.
We talked about that, when our clients, when they sell their homes and then they finally stage it. And many clients come back after they walk in and they see the home stage and they're like, maybe we don't want to sell.
Yeah, right.
And it always made me think like, well, then why don't we all live in a way where I'm not saying to like have stage furniture because with children it's unrealistic.
Gotta be realistic, yeah.
But to actually enjoy where you are, what you have in a way that, you can welcome others.
There's a lot of truth in that. If you're looking to make home improvements, don't wait on that. I mean, if you have the means to be able to do that now, just do it now and enjoy it. Don't wait until you're ready to sell your home because it's a bummer if you're having to wait and then make that repair at that time. Do it now and enjoy it if you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So we did game nights. That's exciting. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to good foods, of course, and good company, and a lot of changes on our homestead. We did a lot of winterizing, and we're still working on that as well. We had to deal with that with the RV, and just so, I mean, there's a lot of juggling of the balls. So I know it may look like on social media that we may have everything together and everything, but there's a lot of behind the scenes where, yeah, just like having your friend Michelle come and teach this course. I mean, that's gold. That's something that, we're learning. We're constantly learning. And you will know that as well. If you're looking into homesteading or you're already homesteading, you know what I'm talking about. And you want to be constantly learning and improving and doing what you can with the resources that are available and just rolling with the punches, especially with the really cold weather that we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, it's been good. I think what you're talking about, rolling with the punches, it really is teaching the children to resiliency and for them to be adaptable in different climates and different scenarios and in different seasons. And as we homeschool, we take them along for the ride and they get to experience all of this. And that's one of the reasons why we have this podcast, so we can document it for them.
That's right.
And, one of the things that I've noticed with our little one is, actually, we just celebrated her birthday the other day.
That's
so
right.
That was exciting. Yeah, that's fun. It's great. And we're having lots of cake this week.
Okay. Yeah. Where did that carnivore diet go? Yes.
Well, we finished. We said November. Although we are still pretty ketovore. And I think carbs actually hurts my stomach now.
Yeah. I haven't really been, just recently had some rice, but I've been staying off of the white rice and I feel better. I can definitely feel it when I do eat starches. I'm a lot more mindful of what I'm eating. So I do feel a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
We try to stay a little bit more meat heavy. So that's good. Back to the little one we were talking about. There has been some challenges, of course. If you have children, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. They all have different personalities, and there's some challenges. And so our little one was giving us some challenges. And
typically in the morning and in the evenings, we noticed. But this was even when she was 6 months old. Because anytime it went past 6:30 at night, she was crying and throwing a tantrum at 6 months. I mean, I have a video of her literally falling over and just like pounding the floor.
We'll save it for our wedding. But
we did know then that once I put her down at 6:30 at night when she was a baby, she was out. And I thought that was way too early because our first one, she would struggle to sleep even till midnight.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't realized how different it was.
Very different. The little one's like a military girl. I think she needs to be on a schedule.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that you also said to her. Because at nighttime, if she's hungry or tired,
she gives a little sass. Yeah.
A lot of sass. And so she gets in trouble for it. And so I keep thinking that like,
so what do you do in that situation? You give her grace because she's a little bit tired. So then you blame yourself as the parent. You should be putting her to bed, or, do you come down and discipline because, hey, you shouldn't be disrespectful. And so we take it more of as, it's our job as parents to have her on a schedule. This is what she craves. This is what she needs. So
we know that about her. Yeah. The other one is a little bit more flexible and she's okay with it, actually looks forward to it. But this one, has to be in bed and has to be fed. It's like a Tamagotchi.
Well, it's the beauty of parenting and homeschooling, right? You just customize it. And so with the little one, then we're going to make her the official family timekeeper, and we're going to see how this goes. So tune in each week. We'll give some updates.
Well, because that's one of her biggest struggles is seeing that because she's a little one, she doesn't have, she feels like we underestimate her or doesn't have.
She needs a voice.
Yeah, she needs a voice. So we all said we would rotate whoever would be in charge or in charge of certain areas. And I think timekeeping is a great way to start with that one, because then if it's time for breakfast, she's the one that's making sure that she's eating, and she's gonna when it's time for bed, she's gonna make sure that it's time for her to go to bed and be accountable to herself. She's getting older. She's almost double digits now, almost going to college.
She has still quite a ways, but
although she's asked you already
to
drive her,
your official Uber driver
to college. She said, Daddy, when I go to college, I want you to drive me.
I'm going to hold her to it. Okay. I don't care. I'm going to be driving her to college. Anyways, we're really excited to see the progress and see if this works out. So
well, we'll be doing more podcasts because we said that at least this way, this is something that we can chat together, stay in contact with everything that's going on, keep record, because that's something that we want to do for the children to see the progression and keep record of it. But also pop in to say hi, because I think it's really good that we show up, especially as we go into 2025. And we are going to be home more. So the community aspect is huge. And if you are on Spotify, it'd be really great to get your feedback, write some comments, let us know what you think about this episode and how you're doing, what your challenges are this winter on your homestead, or maybe challenges in finding a homestead. So love to hear from you, and look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Till next time. Stay healthy.
Bye, everyone.